What's funny is when I got here, they said you were on Drag Race. I had no idea.
Oh! You know full well.
But we had that good time
We
in Norway.
did. Lady Bunny, Sherry Vine. When I watched that gig and I saw you all in that room, I was like, oh, wow. We are going back in time here, literally.
And when I saw you in my room, I thought, why are you here?
Hello and welcome to Queerpiphany, darlings.
With us today is someone truly sensational. And quite frankly, we've not got enough time to name all the things she does successfully. Quickly, it's Bianca Del Rio.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Cheers, everybody.
Oh, cheers, cheers, cheers.
Oh, chin chin.
Cheers.
Oh, yes. Gorgeous. So, Bianca, tell us, what is your Queerpiphany?
My Queerpiphany is a performer by the name of Jim Bailey, who was on the Carol Burnett Show.
And just for us Brits who may not know, what was the Carol Burnett Show and who was Jim Bailey?
Well, it was in the late 60s to early 70s. Don't judge my age. I see you looking at me. There was a variety show that was on television and they would showcase a series of talented people. And Jim Bailey was the first, I would say, I don't know if I would call him a drag queen, but a female impersonator. And he was a brilliant talent who could sing live as Judy Garland, Barbra Streisand. And it's kind of insane when you see him perform because you're sitting back going, that's Judy
The
Garland.
likeness is uncanny.
Yeah, it was uncanny. It was unbelievable. And also, he was presenting as a man on the show, but then they would show photos of him in drag. So when I watched it, I thought, there's something gifted about this person. And I didn't think gender. I didn't think anything other than what a talent.
Right.
You know?
And how old was you at the time when you first saw
Oh,
Jim
God,
Bailey?
I was watching the show in reruns, so don't try to
Okay.
do the math. So it wasn't the actual 70s, but I would say I was probably about 10 or 11. But it was highly influential because here was this professional, amazing performer that was showcasing in front of me. I didn't think at the time that I wanted to do that, but I thought how brilliant what he was doing.
That kind of like started off the little,
Yeah.
the click in your brain's like, okay, I see some cogs turning here.
Well, here's somebody actually functioning and being celebrated for what they do that I thought, oh, wow, this could be a job. This is kind of amazing.
What a time capsule as well, because
Yes.
this is at a time when drag was not celebrated. People weren't even conscious of really what drag was.
Right.
And such a stigma with cross-dressing and gender and, you know, rigid binary roles.
Yeah.
So like to see it presented in this way where it was almost like, here's Jim Jim dressed up as Judy,
yeah.
Like
and
that
here's
term.
Jim performing as Barbra Streisand. It was like a very kind of gradual process of introducing the public to
Completely.
drag.
Yeah, and I think it had nothing to do with him as a person. I mean, I think now with Drag Race and with all of the drag that we see on television,
normalized.
we find more about the people and their
Yes.
backstory. When here was, I didn't know anything about him other than he was a brilliant Judy Garland, a brilliant Barbra
Letting
Streisand,
the
a
art
brilliant
speak
Peggy
for
Lee.
itself.
Yeah, I thought this is great. It's actual talent.
And using that term female impersonation
Yes.
juxtaposed to drag.
Well, there was also so many of them at that time that used male names. So he
Right.
was Jim Bailey. There was another brilliant performer by the name of Charles Pierce, which was Mr. Charles Pierce, and he would do Betty Davis and Mae West and Katharine Hepburn. So it's fascinating that they were presenting their names as it was, but their act was female impersonation.
More on that later.
Before the Carol Burnett Show, where were you looking to for your inspiration?
Well, you know, it's funny. I always loved anything lavish, you know, but I was also drawn to people like Betty Davis and Judy Garland. I don't know why. It was that
divas.
thing
Yes.
as a young gay. It was important to see them and watch them, and I still worship them to this day.
So what were you like as a child?
I was the worst. I always sat closest to the teacher, either because I was problematic or I was her favorite, you know?
Nice.
And I often say that everything that I was shunned for as a child is what I'm celebrated for as an adult.
Yes.
So I was a nasty little son of a but in the end, it worked out to my advantage many, many years later, you know? I didn't know so much about it being gay, or it was more about being different. But I was very artistic and outspoken and highly opinionated, so not much has changed.
You're known for your unique humor style, shall we say?
Depends on who you ask, yes.
Yes.
When did you start developing that? Like, when did you first know that you could, you know, cut someone down in a really, like
Was it like
artistic
bullies?
way?
Well,
Was there
I
anything
think-
like that in school and you were like, no?
But isn't it funny though? But I think there's two types of people that can react to a bully. Either you're upset by it, or you're crying about it, or you're the person to go, "The is wrong with you?"
Like,
Yeah.
you're reacting
You know?
to me in that way because you know I'm doing something right, probably, and you just
Completely.
can't take it.
And also that I was fearless. I was fearless in it. So it just thought, well, you have an opinion of me. Well, now I have an opinion of you.
Yeah.
And I just thought, even if I was gay, even if I was all the names you call me, why do you care? And often I would say you should only be concerned if I actually have sex with your father, because then I could be your stepmother.
Oh,
you know,
tea.
imagine that.
Oh.
That would change the game.
What a way to go, what a way to be.
That would be. Brilliant, huh?
What a family.
The ultimate. I don't remember lines. I snort them. I'm kidding. Stay in school. This could be your life, children.
We know that you are obviously very talented and famous for your amazing costuming, your designing. How did you get into that originally?
Actually, as a kid, my mother had these tablecloths and I stole them. And it wasn't so much about wanting to be a drag queen. I just thought, I want to make a dress.
Yeah.
So I made this little cold shoulder dress with a bow and a little rosette, and I hid it under my bed. And now you got to remember now, when you're like 14 years old, they're digging under your bed. They usually find cigarettes or a dirty magazine.
Some porno.
They found a gown.
Yeah.
So it was the start of it all, you know? And it wasn't so much that I wanted to wear it. I just thought I wanted to make something. I mean, I was very artistic in drawing, and I didn't know necessarily that I wanted to go into costuming, but it was that process of it all. So I went into theater because they needed someone to make costumes, and that snowballed into acting, which then snowballed into drag. So none of it was a plan. I mean, I wouldn't plan this. You know, at 28 years old, I definitely wouldn't have planned this. Oh, you both didn't laugh. You believe that I'm 28. This is good! This is good!
I thought you were talking about when you were 28.
40 years ago.
And do you think you as Bianca, with, you know, how obviously off the tongue and quippy you are with everything, was that always you, or was it something that you thought, okay, there's a stick here, I can make this a character, I can make this a thing?
For me, it's just a heightened version of it.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
So I'm not as calculated or didn't plan it on that level. It just kind of evolved, you know?
I get that. I say that all the time. Like, sometimes with drag, you have people who, they put on their superhero costume
Totally.
and they might maybe a shell of a person outside of it, and then they come like, oh, here I am. But with some people, it's just them times 10.
Oh, I'm just as rude out of it.
Oh, we know.
Yes.
When you look back to Jim's performances and how you felt when you watched them for the first time, what have you taken away from them that you still use today?
It sounds crazy as I'm sitting in a turban and a bedspread, but I think being authentic and true to what you do and letting your talent shine, and, you know, and that's a huge credit. I know we've been talking a lot about Jim Bailey, but Carol Burnett in particular, who it was her show, was bringing on this person and showing the world how brilliant is this individual.
Ally.
Yeah, ally, big time. And she's still with us, which is amazing.
Can we talk about when you met Jim?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. It was early 2000s. I'm not gonna say rock bottom. I'm not gonna, because right now would be rock bottom. We were doing a show at a casino in New Orleans, and it was kind of a female impersonation show. So there was someone doing Barbra Streisand, there was someone doing Whitney Houston, and I was hosting the show. And actually, Jim was gonna be performing in the same venue the following week. So he happened to be in the audience, and they told me right before the show, and I thought, oh my God, you know how that is when it's somebody that's important.
Oh, yeah.
Your brain goes, what am I wearing? What am I doing? He's gonna overthink it. Yeah. And also because we were very different as performers, I thought he's gonna hate me. He's gonna think I'm useless. He's gonna think I'm not that good. Could not have been nicer, could not have been sweeter, and was very, very lovely.
So you must have been so like enamored,
you know
like
what?
so
It's the
gassed. Like,
one-
oh my God, like such an inspiration in front of me. Like what would you
Such
like? What
early
comes
age.
out? You know?
Well, not much, which is scary, because it's the one time
You're
I was
not
quiet.
talking
I
a
was
lot.
like, you know, it's that thing where you're like, I'm talking to somebody that matters, and I can't believe that they're standing in front of you.
Now, were you one of those girls that's like fangirling the hell out, or do you kind of want to keep your composure?
I kept my composure.
Keep it cool.
I kept my composure,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of it had to do with his behavior. He was very, very nice, and it's one of those things I often find, if they're really, really talented, usually they're nice.
What was young Bianca like? So that sounds shady. I didn't mean it shady.
Because I can't imagine what young Bianca was like as I'm looking at old Bianca. Okay.
I didn't mean it.
It's time for the game critics are calling. What is this? This is pure chaos. Are they okay? It's the Quickfire round.
Bianca, we're honouring Jim Bailey with a big old party, and you got 30 seconds to plan it. Quickfire answers only, and your time starts now.
Venue!
No, it's starting now?
Yes,
That's
right now, right
Come on.
now.
Okay,
Venue.
let's go. Venue, Buckingham Palace.
Ooh.
Dress code.
I want it to be formal, so let's say black and white.
What about some music? I want a musical guest.
Whitney Houston.
What are we drinking? Cocktails?
Something that gets you drunk really fast. That's actually champagne.
Oh, I'm hungry. What about a canapé?
Yes, along with macaroons.
Ooh,
Yeah, and pickles.
What are we dipping them in?
You could. Honey.
Time's up! Shut up!
Who plans a party in 30 seconds? There's no gay that can do that.
We'll be back after the break.
So, Bianca, you've been an inspiration to the masses. We had a guest on a previous season, and their Queerpiphany was Drag Race. How does it feel knowing that you are people's Queerpiphanies?
That's why, I mean, the idea that drag is in people's living room is kind of wild to me. Because even growing up after Jim Bailey and watching reruns of Carol Burnett, as I said before, it was reruns, it was not the original airing, is that RuPaul at the time was, doing a VH1 television show in the 90s, and there was very few that were actually out there making waves. So when I do a show and I'm out on the road and I have people, because each night I do a meet and greet of like 150, 200 people and say hello before the show, I'm fascinated at the range of people that are there. And it's everything from a straight girl and her boyfriend, or a grandmother and a 13-year-old boy in heels. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like that you can go somewhere with your grandmother and be celebrated and you have the same interests. And it's also kind of humanized us on a certain level that people don't find it so threatening and they go, oh, this is an act, this is their story, they're performers.
And how far it's come, especially from what you were saying earlier about, where people weren't even really saying the term drag. It was like female impersonation. It was kind of like taboo to it being now so mainstream, so in everyone's faces, on everyone's TV screens, like, mama.
It's so incredibly wild to see the impact that drag's had. Like, not just on queer people being able to, look to people that inspire us, that have had a similar life path, but, straight cis people as well, looking to drag queens to empower them in their day-to-day life. I can access a part of myself that is a little bit draggy to, feel more confident or more present or, more, kind of valid in who I am in different spaces.
I get a lot of people that often say, can I be a drag queen? I said, if putting on a wig makes you happy, go and do
it. You can be
it.
whatever you want. Just go and do it if you want to do it.
And I think that's what people forget. It's all about.
What is a drag queen? Like, what does that make? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I often say I don't want to be accepted as a drag queen. I just want to be accepted to make my own choices and do what I do.
I've always said just be with a bit of slap on my face.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
The name don't change. Same person. Just a bit. Thing. Might be a bit ugly. Might be a bit prettier. Who knows?
Why'd you look at me when you said ugly? This is your last season. This is your last season. I'm calling.
Going back to Drag Race, and obviously there has been an all-winners season out, you being a prestigious winner. Do you think, or would you want to ever go back to an all-winners season, obviously?
Okay, well, I'll give you this bit of information. The last all-winners season, I got a call, and they said, would you be interested in doing it? As we were chatting about it, I said, well, so what's the format? And they basically explained the format, and all was the same, with the exception of no one being eliminated. And I thought, do I want to do this? And I thought, not really.
Can we talk a little bit about drag culture having such an impact?
We can't talk about it. No.
Sorry. No. Having such an impact on culture during such a time where we are constantly under attack by our own governments. Do you feel a responsibility to speak up about the issues that we're affected by?
I think, not so much for me as far as speaking up, but I think leading by example. Doing what you're doing and working and trying to get out there and remind people that it's not threatening. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing. And there's obviously an audience for it. People enjoy it. And for me, it's more about respect. I don't need you to understand it. Just be respectful. Like, I don't care what you do. Why the hell do you care what I do?
Exactly.
And that's the thing that I think is disturbing. And I think they try to sexualize drag or create these situations with drag. And in America, there's a huge ordeal with drag story hour.
Story time.
Yes,
it's
with
ridiculous.
story time. And basically they're saying that they don't want drag queens, reading books to kids. And now me, I am not that person. My show is not for children. And I'm not going to read to kids because I hate kids.
And you let that know beforehand, so it's like...
I hate the children and I don't want to stand in the library with fluorescent lighting.
She hates children, everybody.
I don't like the kids.
A lot of these people, they don't care whether or not you're drag or whether or not
they don't
you're
do the
trans.
research.
They don't care. They're just like, anyone that's, not adhering to binary gender roles is kind of the devil.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is anybody that's fabulous with makeup and good hair is problematic to the world. Yeah, I know, it's quite difficult. We fix the world.
They can't take it, baby.
They can't take it.
What's your message to them?
Oh God, okay, so this is my camera.
This is your moment.
Yes.
I say to the people of the world, mind your business. Mind your business. Live your life as you want to live it and realize that there are differences within all of us, and that's what makes it magical and special. You know what I mean? I'm not expecting you to understand my life. Just be respectful from a distance where I look prettiest.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, distance. Distance works. Yeah, wait, girl. Girl, move the camera back. Yeah.
So you're on your Dead Inside World Tour right now. What can people expect?
I often say expect the unexpected. So much happens in the world, so things kind of change and shift, and depending on where you are, you do have to change the show for your particular audience. Yeah.
And how's that feel? Like you're literally selling out a world tour?
Yeah, I mean, but how lucky to get to work, you know? And if I'm out there doing it, no matter what scale it is, this just happens to be my favorite element. You know, some queens are all about television, where for me, I just much prefer to be with a live audience.
So you're on your Dead Inside World Tour right now. What can people expect?
Gonorrhea.
Keep that in. Bianca, how do you read someone to filth without ruining their life entirely?
Oh, this is a heavy question. But I must say, it's important to know that I'm the joke. Like, I'm the biggest joke there is. And so self-deprecation makes it easier. And what's interesting is that when I started out in like 1996, everybody would hide from me because they thought I was so mean and so nasty. And then now people come to the show and they go, read me, say something horrible. I'm like, well, it doesn't work that way. But in the show element, it can change. So I do a meet and greet before the show. So I meet everyone and I find out who's the drunk one, who's the fun one, who's in the relationship that they hate. And then all of that works to my advantage when the show happens.
Your cameos must be through the roof.
I actually haven't done cameos.
Oh, you're missing a trick, girl.
No.
Everyone be like, read me, read me, read me.
Wouldn't that be fun? No, it's a lot of work because you don't know them, but I know them in the moment, which is what makes it a lot more fun.
Yes.
Well, I was going to ask you to read us, but now...
Oh, I don't have to. The viewers have eyes.
Well,
look at this behind me. When I walked in, I thought you both had passed. I mean, honestly, it's a memorial
wreath. It is giving, actually.
We are dead inside.
Here lies the bodies.
I'm dead inside, you're dead outside. Yeah, I got it.
Goodness. Oh my
I'm
goodness.
going to cherish that moment forever. How does it feel to have that legacy of people that feel about you how you felt about Jim?
I would love to say that it's meaningless, but it's kind of fascinating to me because, you know, I never thought, A, that I would be old. Shut it. I never thought that I would be doing this for a career, much less doing it for 29 years, which is kind of insane. That I try to stay in the present and keep moving forward, but when I do think about it, I go, isn't that pretty fabulous?
It's the best.
And knowing that Jim gave me so much in life, and at the time, as I said, it wasn't so much as this is what I want to do, but when I did start it, I went, oh my God, this magical creature created this art that has stuck with me all these years, that I hope if I can do that for somebody else, how amazing.
Kind of makes it all worth it, doesn't it? To like know that you're passing on that baton of empowerment, of inspiration. Even if they don't do the same thing that you do, at least you've kind of helped them to be
inspire.
There.
Yeah, exactly. Inspire that anything is possible, truthfully,
So look into the future. What do you want the Bianca Del Rio legacy to be?
I think professionalism is important, and I think being fearless. I think that's important. I think that's the two things that you have to be. I live in that world where on stage, I'm ruthless and rotted, but in real life, you have to consider it a job, and you have to handle people properly, and you have to be respectful to everybody around you. And I think that helps. Be a team leader on that level, but everything else, enjoy it, you know? So I think I would want that balance, finding that balance, and also just don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, have fun.
I know.
Whatever happened to fun?
Whatever happened to fun?
I know,
Nobody
it's
has fun anymore.
God, I'm so bored, I could die.
Oh my God, me impersonating somebody? Oh God, that's so challenging now. Who do you think I would be?
I'd love to see you do Trixie.
Oh, does she have personality to do?
Oh!
You'll fix that in post.
Not Trixie catching strays.
It's now time for the most sacred part of the show. That's right, Bianca. It's time to enter your Queerpiphany into the LGBTQIA.
Which everybody knows stands for the legendary giant book the Queerpiphanies are immortalized in for always.
Bianca, the floor is yours.
Well, I've got to say, thank you, Jim Bailey, for being my Queerpiphany. Thank you for being the prime example of good drag, for showing me that talent and ambition can get you anywhere, unlike the hosts of this show.
Oh, this is so nice.
Life could be worse. Thank you, Jim, for giving me an outlook and showing me that anything is possible.
Everyone says she's horrible, but I just don't get it.
I know, she's so nice.
Oh, so sweet.
It was from the heart. Truly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, really, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Bianca, before you leave us, we want to say a little thank you for coming on Queerpiphany.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and we heard you love jelly beans, so we got you one.
Oh, thank you.
You're so welcome.
I heard you had a jelly bean. I didn't know it was here. I heard it was lower.
Oh! That's for you to find out later, Mama.
It smells.
Enjoy.
Oh.
Hey! Gorgeous. gorgeous. Thank you so much for being here, Bianca. It's been a pleasure.
Please, thank you. I will eat your jelly bean anytime.
Wash it down with that shampoo,
Oh, yeah, that's gonna help.
Love ya.
If you've been impacted by anything that we mentioned in today's episode, or you just want a little bit more information, visit the sites on screen now.
Oh, and be a sweetie, won't you? And like and subscribe before you leave us.